Hello, everybody. Good evening. That was a wonderful meditation. So my name is Ruben Martinez. I was born in Orange County and UCI in the city of Orange at 8:01 a.m. in the morning. I was a morning baby. Um, we live in Santa Ana, California for pretty much all our lives. My dad used to take us to Mexico as well. I had an excited childhood. My dad worked at Disneyland as a bartender. Um, it seemed like we used to go to Disneyland every time. Um, we were well off. I didn't seem that I needed anything. Everything was taken care of. We used to go to the beach, Corona del Mar, Newport, and all that. He used to take us uh, camping uh, to Mexico. I used to love Mexico. The smell of fresh uh, wood being burned, especially when it used to rain, the dirt and all that. It was just, it was wonderful. Um, my parents are from Michoacan. I don't know if you guys know. It's a state in Mexico, and we're from a small little town next to Guadalajara, which is like about only one main road. And but I used to love the stillness of everything. Everything was just slower over there, and I used to love going over there. Went to school over there as well at third grade. Then we came back over here. Then I also went to school back when I don't forgot what old or what age I was, but it was in the fifth grade. I passed that, went to sixth grade, but it seemed like I was the oldest kid. When they put us in school over there, I don't know if the education system's a little bit more advanced, meaning that they teach certain curriculums sooner than over here. Because I was seemed like I was the oldest kid right there, and I was kind of embarrassed. But anyways, growing up, I had an exciting childhood. Uh, but I started feeling kind of disconnected with my family when my dad and my mom. I chose to believe that they didn't care about me. That I'm not blaming them. I chose to feel certain things, and I felt that I couldn't I couldn't perform what they were expecting me to become because they came to this country to better our lives. Now I understand that, and for a better future for their kids. And he was a overachiever. My older brother Jose, he was a straight A student. He was in sports. He was in swimming and football and wrestling. And I used to look up to him. And he was great in sports, and he still is great in sports. So with all his kids, they're all in sports. He's a coach for a little league soccer in Riverside. My little niece, she plays for that team as well. Um, and he does very well. But me growing up, kind of felt that uh, I lack confidence and trying to take initiative and do better because I believe that I was not good in sports and education. I was afraid to raise my hand in school. Um, that's how I grew up, and it was very hard for me as a little kid. And I thought that I was not being understood, and and all these things kind of developed in me, and I started deviating from my house. I started going out with my neighbors and hanging around with a bad crowd, and it started stealing and Stater Brothers. As a matter of fact, there was one incident where I went to my mom, told me, "Hey, go buy some milk." She gave me the money, and I went to Stater Brothers. I took my sister, "Hey, let's go, bring your little purse." And she took her purse. We went over there, and I told, "Hey, we're gonna take those markers." And she looked confused. And And I told her, just I'll keep point and just put the little markers in your purse. And she said, okay. And she started putting little markers in the purse. And I got mad because she was doing it super slow. I'm like, what are you doing? Just put a bunch of them and just throw them in their purse. So when I went over there and I started doing it, the manager of all people passed by and said, hey, come here. So we got busted. They called my mom. I was crying. My sister was like nothing, you know? And I felt scared. I knew that my mom was going to tell my dad. And I was super scared because my dad was going to whip us. And she never told my dad, but I was super scared. Um, that was certain. That's how I started my criminality, and I developed these character defects that I didn't like in the future. So I started high school. I was playing football. I got in the wrestling team. Everything was fine until my grades started failing, and And after that, I felt angry because I felt like I couldn't do nothing. I was playing sports because my friends that I hang around with were playing sports. And now that I couldn't hang around with my friends, so I started going with the other crowd, which they were taggers. I knew how to draw. I love painting. So I said, all right, cool. These guys, they look pretty cool. So I started hanging around with them and it started getting into trouble, spray painting the walls. So I started normalizing this lifestyle and I was good at it. I liked the praises. I like how people used to make me feel. They used to pat on my back and it was like, okay, nice. It felt good. And I didn't know nothing about that um, universal needs that people need to be accepted, to be liked, to be loved, to love other people. And I didn't know nothing about this. So I found love in the wrong places. I didn't feel love towards myself. So I craved the attention of other people. So by me being reckless and spray painting and doing all kinds of negative stuff, I got the acceptance, the praise that I craved because I was not getting that in the house. I craved the attention of my dad, of my mom, to tell me, "Hey, son, you're doing all right." And I came to realize that it was what's it called? I was only loved when I did something right, and to me, it seemed like I was doing everything wrong. So I started resenting my father, my mother for not doing nothing, and I became envy of my older brother because he had everything, and I wanted, what he had, and and I didn't know that until the psych in 2017. The psych evaluated me and he told me, "Oh, okay, you were envy at your brother." And I was like, no, I wasn't." But he was right. The more I thought about it, like, oh my God, I really envy my brother. And I grew up and I started understanding certain patterns that when I saw people with a nice car or nice education, anything, I used to envy them. And now when I think of those thoughts, I kind of under tell myself, okay, now I'm thinking like that. I can't be doing that. Even I'm ashamed to say that. Even when people were getting dates, when I was not, I'll feel a certain envy in myself, and I'll feel ashamed that I was thinking that, and I'll change my thoughts. Like, wait a minute, that's your friend. Why are you feeling like that? Uh, but I started to forgive myself, to love myself. And when I started my meditation, everything started to change. I started to notice my feelings, my emotions. So everything that I was dealing with, I was started to deal with it. And when I used to meditate, I used to allow myself to feel whatever I was feeling at the moment, to process any type of emotion. And when I used to talk to the group, my sangha at the time in Ironwood, I started feeling better, and I don't know why I was feeling like that, but it was like what you say, what you express, you heal, and you also share your story to other people, and they also share their story, and I started to connect with other people, and I didn't know nothing about connection emotionally. And I started realizing that back then with my mom and my father, I didn't feel connected emotionally, although I was well off. They used to take us to Disney and all these parks, but I didn't feel emotionally connected towards them. So when I started learning, started educating myself, I started to understand these patterns. So, and there was one particular moment that meditation really helped me a lot. My father died in 2018, and it was very hard for me. And so what I did was I sat down, allowed myself to leave the cell. I sat there and I put a guided meditation, and I put some headphones kind of like this, and I started meditating. And it was very emotional. I started to cry. I started to get angry. Um, I got angry for the way he treated me, but it was just my emotion. But I allowed myself to think that and to think bad things or anything. So I started thinking about why was he like that towards me, and I started thinking of all the good things that he actually gave me. He wanted a better life for myself, and I did tell him. Well, before he died, I did tell him, "Hey, sorry, Dad, for being a bad son. I love you," and it was really hard to say I love you because we never said I love you to each other. So on that moment when I was meditating, I was just pouring my I was just literally just crying, and but I was feeling good about I started feeling like a weight was lifted, and I was telling myself, is this good or is that bad? Why am I feeling good that I'm thinking bad about my father? But it was just a meditation working that I was allowed to express whatever I was feeling. And then I started thinking, you know what, I love you, Dad. Hopefully you're in a better place. And but it was very emotional, and that was one of the moments that actually the meditation kind of boosted up my understanding on how powerful the meditation is. So that happened. I took it to the sangha and we meditated, and so that was little things that happened when I was meditating. Another moment too was we used to go into the chapel and we used to meditate on Friday, and that was 2018, 19, and 20. But in 2000 and in the year 2000, when I was in high desert, I got stabbed really bad by one of my cellies. And I thought I was gonna die. He stabbed me. He was stabbing me in the face, and I thought I was gonna die. And flashes of my family, of everybody, started crossing to my mind. So I left it alone. But because he threw hot water in my face, and I felt it really, really hurt, in kind of like that he actually did that as somebody that I trusted. So, anyways, I left it alone. But every time in time, whenever anybody will heat up water, I'll keep an eye on that. It was just a traumatic experience. So, anyways, back now in the future, 2000, when I was in the chapel, when Mr. Robert and Edwin Paragas and Bui were meditating, and my friend Bui used to get up and walk behind to turn off the fan because it was during summer, it was really hot. But I used to kind of hear him and hear the footsteps because it was just the trauma. And finally, when we finished meditating, I told him, you know what? I expressed what I just expressed. You know what? I got stabbed really bad. And every time you walk, I have to stop my meditation to hear you where you at on the footsteps. And what happened next, it was very wonderful because he also had something also happened to him similar to me. And it seemed like it was a little bit worse. But then all of us, we started sharing stories like that, and every time we used to go to meditate, because we used to do it every Friday, We used to talk about stories like that, and I felt the instant connection with these people while meditating, and I started healing over that. So in time, after a whole year, he used to walk behind. I stopped. I continued to meditate, and I'll forget that he was walking behind. And it was just so wonderful that all this was happening, and it was me healing from all these traumatic experience. And when I used to go to board, I got denied two times. One, I got a 5-year denial, then I got a 3-year denial. But because of those experience, and thanks to my meditation, I was able to express and show emotion when I went to board last year. And they were able to see my emotion, my change in the person that I am now. Because I will not allow other people to see me cry or choke up like I did right now. I would rather just stop and not continue. But this is my story, and you guys are my sangha, and I feel connected with you guys, and I thank you guys for allowing me to share these stories with you guys. And yeah, it was just, and it was a wonderful experience, and life changing. So this meditation has changed me and has allowed me to be a better human being. Thank you.